Hey y'all, Rob here with ATX Legal, and today's video is about a very common question people face, and that is after you've been in an accident and you need medical care, how do you afford that before the settlement has come in? So maybe you were in an auto accident or faced some other injuries and there's another party at fault, and you know that you're going to get that settlement, your attorney is working on getting a settlement, but that medical attention needs to happen right now, whether that's a surgery or any other medical procedure. How are you going to afford that? Well, if you're involved in a suit, you can get what's called a letter of protection or an LOP from your attorney and hand that to a medical provider, and they will give you that medical care at no charge up front with the acknowledgement that you're going to be paying for that medical care out of your settlement. Now, a very important point to understand about this letter of protection is it does actually give them a legal right to your settlement claim. So eventually, when we do get the settlement, me as the attorney would receive that check and I would be obligated to pay out the medical care before we gave that settlement to you. So you do end up paying for the medical care. It's very important to understand this is not free medical care. You are paying for it out of the settlement, but many medical providers understand the situation and they understand that that payment will come eventually in the form of the settlement and it can't be paid up front. So they make this concession, and it can be a very good deal for all parties involved because the patients get their care and the medical providers will get paid eventually, just not up front. So we've talked about the pros of the LOP, and those are obvious. You get the medical care you need right away. But what are the negatives? Well, it's not free money. If you're racking up those bills, you are going to have to pay those later. It might reduce your settlement later. Now, some firms might encourage you to rack up as many medical bills as you can in an effort to increase the settlement. But from my experience, the only person that ends up enriching is the attorney because the client ends up paying for that medical care. Now, if it was necessary for a speedy recovery, absolutely, get it done, get what you need done. But at some point, you have to decide, I'm not going to go forward with medical care that's unnecessary, that's not actually speeding my recovery. And keep in mind, the insurance company might deem some of the medical procedures unnecessary and they won't actually cover those. And then it can be a fight and it takes a lot of litigation to get the insurance company to cover those medical bills. So it's very important, again, get the medical care you need, but don't go overboard. Now, there is one last difficult situation that I want to talk about, and that is if you have to take off work to recover from a procedure, how do you cover those bills? And that's a more difficult question. We can't get an LOP to cover your day-to-day mortgage bills, rent, or whatever you're paying. So it can be a struggle to get through that period. Now, you'll get lost wages when you get the settlement in, but that could be months away and you need to pay those bills today. So there are companies that offer loans on the basis of these settlements. At ATX Legal, we don't encourage that. The interest rates on these loans can be pretty high, but it can be an option if you absolutely need to get that surgery and you're going to be missing work and you need that money right away. It can be possible, but it's not recommended if you have a way to avoid it. Of course, nothing in this video has been legal advice. We haven't considered your particular situation, but if you would like legal advice on your case, you can visit us at atx.legal to schedule a no-cost consultation.